leak somewhere that she got a couple million, and then whatever. That's the if she has any evidence whatsoever. But I don't see Brian Friedman wasting his time if he doesn't have a case. And then
Uh,
you have that case, and then you have the revenge porn case, and I think he's her lawyer for both of them. You have Sandoval and Ariana, and I don't know. There's obviously
Sandoval's defending himself now. I mean, there's two different. He does
well,
not own
his
the revenge,
girlfriend
right?
said that his girlfriend said that's not true. That because what
Oh,
has to happen is you have to file to like leave your lawyer. You have to announce it
hmm.
to court and then bring somebody else in. So it looks like he'll be bringing somebody else in. But yeah, how funny that Ariana and Tom Sandoval are kind of on the same side with that. So maybe they'll have to sit on the same side in the courtroom.
They might. And that's the thing I always say people don't realize. If something settles, it's not just settled because everyone's so exhausted. There's money exchanged. I think she's going to get some money. I would love to. I mean, I love Miss Paula Abdul. I would love to know how much Paula has received. I mean, I would love for that to slip out. But same thing. She's like, okay, I mean, it probably happened if she's filing this. I mean, Paula Abdul doesn't need the money, but it's money, right? If someone's like, here's $2.5 million to settle, okay, great. Let's just walk away. I mean,
And
that's what I
I'm
would do.
against, yeah, and I'm against like shakedowns because there are frivolous shakedowns that happen, but it looks pretty much like she had a case that he was coming on to her and in a way where that wasn't business related, and he was slimy as hell, and I think that's what it came down to. And she must have enough evidence, or I think what happened was I don't know the facts offhand, but I think she told a friend at the time, and that's huge. Not what someone's willing to say now, but oh yeah, 7 years ago, this person can say, "Yep, she told me that happened." Bingo, 2 million. Bye, or whatever it is.
Speaking of shakedowns, and this, I mean, I wasn't even going to talk about this, but what about the whole Jay-Z thing? Because he says this is a complete shakedown. We will not succumb to this. You want money, you want to bribe me. Of course, you're coming after me, Beyonce. There were obviously targets, more money, more problems, and
I mean,
you're not
look,
going to shake me down and bribe me. This didn't happen, and it's public. I don't care.
I think multiple things can be true. I think this Busby lawyer, seems really slimy, but I also think these women have real stories. I think there's real stories and men. There are real stories, and some stuff might fall into a gray area if you're throwing a party and there's drugs going on. And then there's going to be real credible stories of Diddy for sure. There's a reason why he's in jail. And it's like Jay-Z, I don't know. I mean, I have no idea. But that's why you just got to like let the courts. It's very boring to say you got to let the court system play out, but it'll be notable if he settles, which you just if you're innocent you don't want to do, especially if you're like him and has the money to fight it. You got to fight it because at this point it's like you're either attached to Diddy or you're not. And I mean, we'll have to see. Who knows? But like it's like there are facts, and this is the problem that people have is like there are facts to Jay-Z. Like he met Beyonce when she was a teen. Like I don't know the full story, the full timeline of Jay-Z was also a music mogul and producer, so he's going to meet a lot of people in their teens that he's trying to sign to deals. Was it predatory like Diddy or not? I have no idea. But I do see this lawyer in Texas as like a bloodthirsty guy. You'll have to just see if whether or not he's messing with the wrong people. Because if it is all like like Jay-Z's side made an accusation of this lawyer saying he was trying to get people to lie, and if they can prove that, then it's like they'll countersue them. So I don't know. What I've learned in the world of law, having to deal with these frivolous lawsuits, is that like the truth will come out, but it takes a lot of money, and we'll just like be able to read between the lines if there are settlements and whatnot.
I agree. And just one other thing when you were talking about Ariana and her right, and she doesn't want to film a Tom. I agree with all of that. To me, the most interesting thing, in addition to Rachel, is like imagine if Ariana did not profit. So, like, just imagine if there was no Chicago, there was no Love Island. It was just, look, Tom, everyone did a little bit well because of Scandoval, right? Like, Jax is back on TV. But imagine if Ariana just did the same as everybody else. Like, she, got one. She would need the show. She would need the show. And then we would have a much different season 12. Someone would have said, you need to go speak to Tom Sandoval right here on camera, or your job is over today. And here's the contract that says you can't say no. And you're going to have to pay us back the 400,000 for the season. And it's over. And she would have said, fuck my life, and had to do it. And we might have a
Yeah,
season 12.
It's like when you work some shitty job and they're like, we need you to work on Christmas Day. And you're like, I'm not doing that. And they're like, you're doing it. And then you show up because it's like they got you by the balls. And they do not have her by the balls. But yeah, if they did, she would for sure be singing a different tune. But I think we all would. Like if we all are complicit when we like, I love my company backed health insurance. Yeah, because they dangle life over your head. Of course you love it. But when you're an entrepreneur and when you don't need other people, you speak your truth and your freedom. So it's been great to see her do that when she wants to and then, move on when she doesn't. Um, but it's like such a unique sort of scenario, Black Swan event, Scandoval, like once in a lifetime cultural event that might have saved, because everyone's like, oh, she's Lala, and they were thinking like, oh, she's going to cost us a new season, but maybe season 11 doesn't happen if Sandoval didn't happen. Maybe the show just peters out. So you just don't know. You just don't know what world would have been, but you can't blame her for taking the high road.
The rumor is it wasn't supposed to happen. That's just the rumor, you know? Well, same thing. Think about it. If you have a enemy in the podcast space or from Bachelor Nation or anything, or just someone like this woman, well, maybe not this woman because we're in a lawsuit, but just somebody that you really don't want to sit down and do a podcast with. And now imagine if like you knew it'd be viral, not like maybe it'd be a little higher rated, but it would be like a huge moment for you. Like if Tom and Ariana were going to do a special on Bravo with the two of them sitting down with a therapist and talking, it would be huge ratings. So you would do it. I would do it for whatever. So they would do it if they needed it, if she needed it.
I've had this conversation with my wife. I personally, for a
Maybe you
lot of
wouldn't.
provable reasons, I think Nick Vile is I think he's kind of like a low energy kind of slimy guy. For a lot of provable reasons, the way he didn't back the foundation that was trying to support the rights of Love Is Blind employees, and he's been dismissive of people who's the Golden Bachelor. When his wife died, he was like, "Oh, the body's still warm." He said very cutting, mean things and judgy things. So for those reasons, I disagree with him on a lot of big issues. I'd go on his podcast tomorrow because it'll help my family and it'll help my brand. So like, yeah, you do it. No, if I was a bigger podcast, I'd tell him to go fuck off. But now I would tell him to go fuck off, but I would also do his podcast. Like I got no problem saying that. You do what you got to do for yourself. And if you don't need them, you don't need them. But like, yeah, I'd fly tomorrow to go talk to my enemies to help my show out. Because I'm not above, trying to take care of my family.
I say these things all the time. There's
Not
this.
that you're an enemy. You're a friend. We're friends here.
We're friends. No, but there's like this one woman, Heather, Heather McDonald. She's like in
Sure.
the community. I personally have nothing against her. It's a long story. We had our moments. It doesn't mean that I enjoy her or like her, but I mean, if she said to come on her podcast, she has a huge podcast. I would be there. It's like two things could be true. I'm not backtracking on anything else I said. I would go. I'm not going to not admit that. Same thing. I don't like doing things for free. If someone said, like, come to be the bartender on Watch What Happens, I would do that. I'm not really interested in spending all the time to get there, but I would be there because
Yeah.
it's a
Oh,
great platform. Like,
the things
I'm
that
not
all
too proud to beg.
and I'll do things now knowing I might get a good stand-up story out of it.
Oh,
But there's also
totally.
things I turn down where I go, my time is worth more than that, hombre. You can't like there are things I turn down when the juice isn't worth the squeeze that I might have been
Like
desperate
what?
to
Like
do.
what's something you
Well,
turned
I got
down? I
asked
mean, I
recently.
turned, yeah.
I just got asked recently from somebody, and they meant well, but they wanted me to voice a character in some documentary that they were doing. They needed a voice, and in my head, I'm like, you can pay me to do this. Is not going to be worth my time. It'd have to be like a lot of